What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and welcome to Spec Ops 24 Task List Part 4. This one may be the longest yet, so that's really all the intro we need. Where we last left off, of course it was with the research. Isn't it always? But now that the Staff of Tepid Storms is complete, that means we finished task number 16. The reward for this one is the unlocking of Mission 3. Then we also get to move on to task 17. For this step, we have to use the Staff of Tepid Storm's Storm ability in combat, and we also have to use the Smoldering Sword. You can complete this in any mission, or basically anywhere where you can bring your agent. Simply equip both of those items and make sure you use them in combat. Now for me, I'm actually excited to see what the Staff of Tepid Storms can do because it is a multi-function weapon. In fact, it's going to have two separate abilities. By the way, we're using Cyclops and Colossus because we were farming Chapter 4 Mission 4's Heroic Battle. And I'm very pleased to announce that I won Storm's EISO and Avalanche's EISO in back-to-back runs. So I'm officially done with that. Oh, and here's the staff's first ability, Storm. It's a pretty decent attack and it does look like it works very well with the static charge team. And I am excited to revisit that. Next, it can give you a Shroud, but it only has a 30% chance to grant Nimble. That's extremely low, and I don't think there's that much incentive to try it out. But we do have to use the Storm ability, so let's go ahead and do that first. After this, we'll take it easy with our X-Men because we also have to use the sword before we get credit. With Colossus, I'm going to use Steel Curtain, and then he'll protect us from attacks. Then with Cyclops, we don't want to use his level 6 because our counters would probably finish the enemy. So instead, we'll single target attack a blaster, and then we'll finish off the top sentinel as well. Then on my agent's turn, I'm going to use our Smoldering Sword, and that's the end of this task. Pretty simple and straightforward, but I like it that way. It does appear that he'll have a little bit of health left, but we'll just take him down with Colossus. Alright, so those two work out fine, but we will switch them out in later tasks. Though I am a pretty big Cyclops fan, especially because of his flanked. You may actually want to try him out on a group boss sometime. A long time ago, I used to use him with Hulk, and it was a pretty fun and effective team. But now moving on to task number 18, we now have to go to Mission 3, and there we have to defeat 6 Draugr warriors. Well, that sounds simple enough to me. And in fact, you're going to see them in regular threats at the very beginning of the mission. So here we are with a pretty quick clear team. But of course I prefer when Iron Patriot goes first. Now at first I was wondering if you had to face a specific type of enemy, but no, these guys will count. I believe there's 4 in this fight and it was a medium threat. So we're going to have to do one more battle after this to get all 6, but really Mission 3 is the one with the epic boss. So you're probably going to want to do all the threats anyways. Even though it will cost Unstable ISO 8, I would hate to run this mission without facing the epic boss. It just feels like a waste to me. And also, as most of you know, the deploys are going to be Falcon, Heimdall, and Thing. So yes, it's a very expensive Spec Ops. If you don't have those characters and you can't farm enough CP, then you're going to have to use gold to skip the final task. Before you ask, yes, I think Beta Ray's worth it. Actually, I think most of the characters are worth the gold because you don't want to wait. It takes a long time for them to get released, and they're quite expensive. But Beta Ray I think is worth it more than most. So there you have it, my thoughts on Beta Ray. And by the way, Enchantress looks like a ton of fun. I really wish I could get her right now. But I do have 5 out of 8 covers, and I'm hoping that I start seeing group bosses once again soon. Speaking of her, we're going to be using her in the next task. But right now we do have one more fight to finish. As far as Unstable ISO 8, I think where I'm going to run into trouble is in the final stretch. I only have 107, and the only way I can even get any now is by visiting my allies' maps. But who knows, maybe I'll win some on the daily roulette. There's always an outside possibility of that. I've tried just about everything and nothing works. But I do appreciate all the responses and all the advice. Back to the task at hand, Iron Patriot's up next, and he's going to 21 gun salute down these final 2 enemies. So after that, we will be finished with the task, and we can move on to our team up with Enchantress. In that task, I can already tell you, you're going to be facing Ymir. And yes, for anyone who missed the end of the last video, I did look up exactly how to say his name. This time though, we're bringing in Iron Patriot. I'm not even messing around. A lot of people are using Sunfire against him, and that's totally fine, but I can tell you that 21 Gun Salute takes off 1 stack of his buff every single time it's fired. And here we are at task number 19. We have to use Enchantress's Magic Missile 3 times, and also her Alluring Voice 3 times. She is a team up in Mission 1 and 3, but since we're already in Mission 3, we're just going to fight Ymir. Using Magic Missile 3 times won't be a problem whatsoever. And then Alluring Voice is also a quick action. So this task is going to be fairly easy, and since Enchantress is amazing, it's going to be fun as well. First, there's going to be a short dialogue, and then a pretty lengthy fight, so what I'm going to do is speed through the parts that don't have the boss. Even that part alone, with the energy user, is going to take a while. Could you even imagine using that guy as a playable character? That would be really ridiculous. But yes, there's no way he would ever be playable. That just wouldn't make sense. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and what sort of team-ups would you make for him? And while we're on that topic, I know it's early, we still have to get this lockbox character, but who do you think will be next? I don't think it's going to be Winter Soldier, but I really hope we get him in the near future. And then as far as Spec Ops characters, you know who I want. That's Namor. Tell me an Atlantis-themed Spec Ops wouldn't be great. There's all sorts of villains we could have, like Atuma and Tiger Shark, and we could even have Namorita. I don't know, maybe as a lockbox character or a special covert ops task character. Well, I do know she was supposed to be killed in the explosion by Nitro. So hey, maybe go that route instead. And then we can get Penance. There we go, we'll take him as a lockbox character instead. That actually sounds really good to me. Either way, there's 2 different options for amazing Spec Ops storylines. Alright, well back to the fight. We have been taking down Cold Reception, but it's at 7 right now. Once Iron Patriot starts firing, the stacks are going to fly off of him. As far as Enchantress, I think we're already done with her abilities, and it's definitely much easier with someone like her that doesn't have crazy long cooldowns. Rogue, I'm looking at you. Her covert ops task took quite a while. Of course because of her cooldowns. Okay, and check this out. Every time it's fired, Cold Reception goes down 1 stack. So there was 7, 6, 5, and now 4. That's really hard to beat. Now with my agent, I'm going to use Fire Tornado, so that's another stack off. Then we can use our Cybernetic Blaster. But I did notice that we're very low on stamina, so we'll go ahead and get some back. Then that's a quick action, and unfortunately now we're out. Otherwise, we could have fired another energy attack with the Cybernetic Cannon. Now, just in case, that may have been our 3rd Alluring Voice, and now we can definitely feel free to finish off the boss. So let's fire another Magic Missile basically for free, and then we'll try out our level 9 Emerald Wave. After this, Ymir takes his dots, and then he's going to use a Falling Ice. On his second action, Cower actually triggers, so that's the end of his turn. And with Iron Patriot, we're going to use Repulsor Beams times 3. The first 2 should finish off his Cold Reception, and then the final one is going to do massive damage. So here comes the first 2, and the final one does over 29,000. Just like that, task 19's out of the way, and now we get to move on to task number 20. Once I get into the 20s, I basically feel like this Spec Ops is almost done. That's not necessarily the case because it's always going to be the longest task, mainly that 3-star every mission one. But still, it feels good to be in the 20s, I have to say. So for task number 20, we have to win 3 PvP battles. And yes, we have to win. I was already using the following team for a series that I've been doing on my 2nd channel, so I just went ahead and left them in. That series is where I mix the old with the new using old podcast segments and ideas combined with new PvP footage, testing whether those ideas are still viable in today's PvP. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure you check it out. I'll place a link on the screen right now. As for Molly Hayes and Invisible Woman, I'm afraid they don't stand a chance. That Deathly Freeze Ray was especially clutch, and it caused the agent to be stunned. So with Beast, we used Mask of the Red Death, And now Jekyll and Hyde on the enemy agent. That attack does a considerable amount of damage, and it places off balance as well as cornered, so he's no longer protecting. Then Invisible Woman was stunned as well, so we get to use the signpost, followed by the fire tornado, and then I'm going to use the T-bolt glove on the enemy agent. By the way, this was our third battle and third win, so the video isn't going to run too much longer. We are getting close to the end, trust me. The enemy agent is probably going to die to his dots, so we can start working on Molly. She is now protecting because of Raspberry, so it really doesn't matter either way. With Scarlet Witch, we'll use her level 2 Arcane Blast, and it does a nice amount of damage, but she does get drop kicked for it. Next, as predicted, the enemy agent does go down, and after that, Beast will use Jekyll and Hyde on Molly to finish her off. Now, oddly enough, at this point I was thinking, what if Sue Storm uses her Force Cage? And that's exactly what she does. The good news is we can still use the Signpost and the Warm Zephyr. After this, I think that Scarlet Witch and Pestilence Beast should be able to win this fight. Also, since we're in the home stretch, I'm going to speed this one up very slightly. First up, with Wanda, we can now use her level 9 Probability Field. And what this ends up doing is gives Beast a ton of turns. So any team would be in serious trouble at this point. With those turns, we'll just use Jekyll and Hyde until Invisible Woman's gone. Well, that didn't take long, we had a lot of turns to spare. So with that, we do finish task number 20, and we get the blueprint for the Coulson special. Now that's a really cool looking gun. But ultimately what this means is we're coming to our final research. And honestly, I think it's about time. So here we are at task 21, create the Coulson special in the lab. Now there's no more reason to delay, so let's go ahead and find out exactly what you need and get this research started. It's unfortunately going to take 2 ruined metal, 60 unstable iso-weight, 5,000 silver, and 1 day and 12 hours. So in 36 hours we can possibly move on to the end if we have enough unstable iso-weight. Here's hoping that we do, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Still, I'm sure that Beta Ray is going to be unlocked sometime next week, and I will bring you the next part of the task list as soon as I can. That's going to be it for this one, but I do want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, good luck, and take care.